Sunday school. Can we just sit there and fucking think about a worse way to spend your time on a Sunday morning?
Then Sunday school?
For a kid. I mean, if you're a grown-ass adult and you decide to go to church on Sunday morning, that's on you.
Right, that's your problem.
Force your fucking child who has no idea what way or the other. Just download them with Sunday school every Sunday morning. That's when the good cartoons are on, dude.
No, the good cartoons aren't on Sunday morning, are they? I thought they were on Saturday morning.
Both, yeah.
I see. So,
but, you're losing out on 50% of your good cartoon time.
Yeah, Saturday school would be just as bad.
Saturday school is all, it's pretty much the same fucking thing. Same amount of evil.
Right, but there is no such thing as Saturday school. To my
knowledge.
There
is. Oh, sometimes.
Yes, there is. It's called Sabbath school.
Oh, well, I'm talking about in high school. That was like a punishment, was Saturday school. If you fucked up, that was like one of the things. It's like in-school suspension or Saturday school.
So that was like detention with Snape?
Yeah,
yes.
I guess. Are you talking about in-school suspension? Because the guy who ran that was nothing like Snape.
No?
He was more like Butterbean. You know Butterbean?
Nah, man. Who's Butterbean?
You don't know Butterbean, the fucking fat boxer, the real fat boxer who's knocking people the fuck out? Well, he also got knocked the fuck out, too. But you don't know who I'm talking about?
Now I do, now that you said boxer. But, I mean, I didn't kind of equate.
He said boxer the first time, and you said no.
Yeah, his name was Coach Rye. He looked kind of like Butterbean, but he had a goatee. And he wasn't as fat as Butterbean, but he had the same general shape.
I see. So it was a Butterbean-esque appearance.
Yeah, but he ran it kind of like like Hanoi Hilton. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I do. He made you sit on piles of bricks, tortured you, stuck hot bamboo shoots up underneath your fingernails, broke your arms, that sort of thing.
Yeah, standard public school in-school suspension procedure.
Now, this is a true story. Now, were either of you kids ever paddled in school? I'm curious about that.
No.
Well, I was in first grade, but that's because my mom was my teacher.
Right. No, you can't count that. That's just your standard
But
spanking.
it was in school, though, so...
No, if your mom does it, it's just a spanking.
Did she hit anybody else, or was it just you that she
Of course
swallowed?
she didn't fucking hit anybody else. Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure capital punishment was outlawed as a thing that you could do to children in school.
I'm pretty sure that you were the only one that deserved it.
True.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Well, so let me say this about capital punishment. Now, I was old enough to be on the tail end of that, and I was monkeying around in my 6th grade music class. And Mr. Knopfziger, who used to say, for reasons that are still unclear, are you ready, Hezzy? Before any of us would sing. He would say, are you ready, Hezzy? I don't know why. Anyways.
It doesn't even fucking rhyme, dude. How weak is that? Jesus Christ.
Well, Mr. Knopfziger.
He made up a word just to go with that, and it didn't even fucking rhyme.
Right.
All right.
What a
continue.
douchebag. But, however, his paddle game be strong, yo. That I'll tell you. So
Big, strong man with the paddle.
Yeah.
And prepubescent children.
Got some aggression.
Big, strong man.
His pimp hand be strong.
Right.
Real tough guy.
With 6th graders. Anyway, so you had to bend over and grab your ankles, and then he would whack you with his paddle. And his
You
paddle,
had to grab your ankles?
Yeah, that's a bit extreme.
Yeah, well,
That's a little bit rapey, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he have a Polaroid camera on his desk that he would just real quick and
It
then
was
get
in
to
the paddle.
no, none of that happened to my knowledge. But
Yikes.
yeah.
To your knowledge, be right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have repressed several of those
I was
memories,
gonna say, that's
obviously.
repressed type shit.
Yeah, right, it sure is.
That's the stuff. you
Now, look,
repress.
I don't remember the paddle going up my ass, but I can't deny that happened. Sorry, Sarah. Anyway, what did happen was the paddle did get applied to my ass cheeks in a forceful manner, and it stung so bad, little tears, because that was, to be a real man in 6th grade, you had to withstand the paddling without crying. But I had some eye watering.
What did you do to warrant this paddling?
It's just your basic 6th grade fucking around. I have no idea. I can't even remember. But I know I shouldn't have done it. And I don't think I ever did it again, whatever it was. Anyway, so that's my story about getting paddled.
Have
Does
you
he
seen?
sound weird to you?
Do what? No.
Does Dad sound weird to you?
What do you mean? Do I sound
You
weird?
did just open up to us emotionally. So.
No, I'm
Right,
talking
right.
about the quality of the audio, dum-dum.
That was not clear from your question, let me just say.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. It just sounds...
A little underwatery, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little underwatery. Is that
To you.
Is that just something on my end?
Yeah, it's just something on your end. We sound fine here.
All right.
All right. Well, shall we get going, kids?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Welcome to A Shin Show. I'm your host, Pete Shin, from an undisclosed location on the east coast of Maryland. Also joining me, also from the same undisclosed location on the east coast. I said Maryland, didn't I? Well, anyway, it's
Too late.
Yeah, it's too late. All right. Anyway, my beloved spouse, Elsie's joining me.
Exact Latin long lines to come.
Right. Yeah, you want to pinpoint those chords. And then from an undisclosed location in the Midwest, daughter Sarah and son Nicholas also joining this evening. Good evening, Sarah and Nicholas.
Good evening.
Oh, nice unison. Very nicely done. Well, news of the week. Let's start with the personal. Nothing really to report. Had a job interview this week. Unclear whether that's going to pan out. That's about it. And for Elsie, anything for you, hon?
I went to Atlanta for a few days. It was really hot, but I got to watch a movie there and back. So hang on for pop culture.
All right. That's why they call it Hot Atlanta. All right. How about you?
Hotlanta.
Yeah, it's hot. Damn hot. Real hot.
It was,
Sizzling
it was
hot.
really nice these past couple days, like Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Not today, boy.
Bud. Summer came back with a vengeance.
Oh, fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
How hot is
It's
it?
a hot one today.
Yeah, like how hot now in the undisclosed location.
95-ish.
Jesus.
Oof.
That's hot in that undisclosed location, I'll tell you that.
That's hot
Ungovernably
anywhere.
hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's pretty sweltering, especially given the 74-degree weather on Friday.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's a hard adjustment.
It sure is. Well, so it got hot in the undisclosed location in the Midwest. Somewhere between Sioux City and Kansas City. You figure it out.
See, why do you got to throw that in there?
He's
Just to
obnoxious.
raise your
You
ire.
want them to find us, dude. You want them to find us.
Them. Who's them? I mean,
You're like a serial killer who just wants to get caught, keeps returning to the scene of the crime. They're never going to catch the real killer.
Yeah, the serial killer that looks for podcasters with small followerships.
right. That's right. There's the serial killer who looks for podcasts with no more than 8 listeners.
Because he's going to then do his own pod called Serial.
Right. Exactly. Killer. All right. So what about you, Nick? Any personal news?
Any personal news?
Anything you want to disclose? I mean, I just came right out of the gate with my paddling story. So
There's a lot of shit that you
Any
know,
emotional,
I can't
mental
disclose
abuse?
at this juncture. Oh, hey, did I tell you? Well, I don't know if this is appropriate for the podcast,
It is
Ooh.
now. Tell
but
us.
I got some good news though.
yeah, I'm listening.
Well, my lawyer emailed me and said I beat the case.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah,
we'll
so
just
I'm
leave
off
it at that.
probation.
Well,
Yeah, that's all that we need.
So you're off probation?
Yeah, and the case is dismissed.
Oh,
You
very
want me to
good.
read it to you? You want me to read the actual?
Oh, well, sure. Why not? I mean,
Okay, I
I'm
was going to let you keep your privacy, but you do you.
no.
Well, it's just it's a
It's generic enough.
It's pro forma.
Yeah.
Yes, as they say in the legal business. Pro forma.
Yeah. All right. So, upon stipulated motion and good cause shown, the court now hereby allows the defendant to withdraw his guilty plea, dismisses the charge against him, and closes this case pursuant to the plea and abeyance agreement.
Perfect.
Yeah, which is good. Just for anybody who's listening to this and thinking, "What the fuck did this guy do?" It's nothing crazy. Okay, if I didn't hurt anyone or steal anything, or
No, but he did delete Facebook, hit the gym, and lawyer up.
Yeah, all three
I
of
did
those
do
things.
that.
Oh, you did
I
all
did do
three,
that.
actually. Yeah, actually, you did do all 3 of those things. And look at you now.
look at me now.
Yeah, you're free and clear, although, I'll be honest, you still look like shit.
Yeah, I do. I look worse, far worse. But you know, and it's just a downhill slide, like But it's okay.
It's perfectly fine.
Okay. You go to sleep. You take those feelings. You keep an eye on them.
Right, bottle them up. Yep.
Put them up on the shelf.
Stuff them down.
where they belong.
Yeah, you're going to stuff them down. All right. So, quick question for you. Am I the
Yeah.
asshole for refusing to pay thousands of dollars for something my child broke? Discuss.
I need context.
Okay. Well, the context is that these people went over to this house, right? And the 4-year-old, they brought their 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old picked up a mask lying on a table. And, the parents said, oh, put that down. And she put it down kind of hard, broke right in the middle. Well, it turns out that it's like a $4,000, some sort of Chinese death mask. So,
is she cursed now?
Well, it doesn't say. But my question
did
is,
the people demand? Were the people like, "Are you gonna fucking pay for that or what?"
yes, they did. They're like, well, that's a very expensive mask. Your child broke it. I'd like you to pony up the $4,000.
But it was just laying on a table. Did this child come over unannounced?
Well, let's just say that they came over on an invite. They were invited. They were invited over.
Should have
if you invite
the mask up.
Yeah, if you invite someone with 4-year-old children over to your home, I think it's safe to say that you would take all ancient $4,000-year-old shit and put it away. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just leave it on a fucking coffee table. You got a 4-year-old tearing hell through the house. Like,
actually, it's worse than that. Not only were they invited over, it was an open house.
okay, yeah, then they really fucked up. Then the people who own that mask should be like, "Oh, that's what I get for leaving a $4,000
The people who
relic."
own that mask need $4,000 and they need it tonight from you or somebody you know.
And they can't tell you anything more than that.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so
It kind of sounds like the old scam trick where you leave some shit lying around, make someone break it, and be like, "Hey, that was a fucking ancient family heirloom. I'm gonna need $4,000 exactly from you."
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Maybe it's just a giant scam to get money out of them.
I mean, I would feel bad. How well do they know this person?
Not well. It's an open house.
For school?
No, for to sell the place. So
yeah, that sounds like a scam to me.
Yeah,
that sounds like a scam.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we rewind a second? Like, whose child was this? Because you said your child.
It's random Reddit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not like anybody I know.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah. That
I thought
sounds like a scam
I thought you were
to
trying
me,
to
dude.
shoehorn that into the personal news.
No.
You adopted.
Right. Look, so Bradley broke a $4,000 ancient Chinese mask. Okay?
And we like to say he's got the mentality of a 4-year-old, so we can get away with it.
Right.
In fact, it wasn't Bradley.
We
It was
say-
Lily the Wonder Dog.
Lily the Wonder Dog broke a $4,000 Chinese mask. No, she didn't. I'm kidding you.
Yeah, that sounds like all right. So anyone with the competence to have a real estate license selling houses, you would think would also have the competence to put a $4,000 relic away. Not the asshole.
Right.
And that's what, it's an ancient Chinese death mask, and it's worth only $4,000. Really? Like I don't know.
I mean, I'm not really certain about the masks. I'm just throwing things out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
about the origin and nature of
the provenance.
of the mask.
Yeah, the mask
Okay.
is the mask may be, for example, Namibian. I don't know for sure.
Or Mesopotamian.
Yeah,
It
you are
could-
legit first, though.
Yeah, it could either way.
Yeah, you're probably cursed for real, and you just tell them that, like, hey, my kid just brought this fucking curse on my family for breaking that ancient
Isn't
mask.
that payment enough?
Yeah, so I'm gonna need all the money I can get.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Oh,
Oh, really? We
yeah.
can't put our phone on silent.
Sorry,
can we?
well,
Wow,
It does-
rookie fucking mistake.
it
dude.
was, and did you hear that sound? That sound is the sound of my fantasy team sucking balls, big, hairy, juicy balls.
So not even worth it. Not
No,
even worth the noise.
no, not far from it. Far from it. I'm not good at fantasy sports ball. I'm just going to throw that out there.
He's real bad at it.
I did
Fantasy
much-
sports ball.
I did much better this week when I actually listened to Nick's recommendations. So
Oh, really? I'll be darned.
I got second place.
Oh, very good.
So I'm
Okay,
going
well
to
then I
do
guess
that.
this is a good time to mention that I listened to the podcast last week.
Really?
Okay?
That must be a first, huh?
And no, I'd actually listen to him every time. But
Are you defending your
have
honor
been-
now?
I've been rubbing my grubby paws together ever since I fucking heard that shit. Because there was quite a few people who got me real fucked up. First off, okay, Sarah, when Colorado beat Nebraska, and Sarah was like, "Ooh, I picked that team with a 10."
I did, though.
Let me finish. when she said she picked that team, she neglected to mention who she fucking called 10 minutes before and said, hey, who should I pick against? Tell me, like, is Nebraska or Colorado going to win? And I said, well, Nebraska's defense real good, but the offense just isn't getting it done. Might be a close one. I'm going to give it to Colorado, though, just this time. And Colorado won. I got you that. You're welcome. No fucking...
You got me all the other ones. I had already decided.
No, that is not true. That is just a bold-faced lie.
You know what? This is the kind of brotherly, sisterly love that I remember from your childhood.
All right, now hold on. We got one more, dude. I was going to save this for sports, but this is the best one. This is so goddamn ridiculous.
Yes.
Murph comes on here and says, Nick has no idea what he's talking about with MMA. His predictions, he pulls them out of his ass. No fucking idea what he's talking about. Dude, Saturday night, before you even did this podcast, I get a text from Murph that says, that fight, word for word, that fight went exactly like you said it would. Okay? What? Eat a dick.
Oh, I knew you would love that week's podcast. And I
Right.
appreciate you coming to defend your honor. Well done. Consider it defended.
I particularly loved it because I knew you'd get pissed off.
Here's the great part about that is that I called him yesterday so that we could do this whole college pick'em thing again, and he ranted at me for like a solid 3 minutes. I'm like, can you just
credit
focus?
where credit's due,
Focus
okay?
here.
That's all I ask. Credit where credit's due.
That's fair.
Okay, well, we'll see how you did this week. How about that?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, here's what I'm going to tell you about my fantasy team. Didn't do any better this week than last. And I was supposed to wear the ugly tie last week, but I just basically put the kibosh on that at the office. Like, no, I'm not wearing that. No, not doing it. Pass.
Yeah,
Sore loser.
we do have like
Yes.
fucking-
Yes.
The sorest of fucking losers. I'm sore about it. That's exactly right. It feels like a pulled groin every week with this fantasy football stuff.
Why do you do it?
Well, just get good.
So he can show off at the office about how good he is and then, suck.
No one showed off at all. No one. There was no boasting or bragging.
And then
No, the
refused
person who
to
won didn't
grab his
post?
ankles and take the pad when it's time.
Right. Are you ready, Hezzy? For the paddle to the ass. Okay. So let me ask you this question. Okay. This also comes from Anonymous Reddit, and I'm going to do a better job summarizing it for you this time than the last one, all right? So here's the premise. My grandparents don't approve of my relationship with my African-American boyfriend and don't want me to marry him. I don't know what to do since I don't want to lose either of these people, either my boyfriend or my grandparents. What are your thoughts?
Grandparents are going to die soon. Who cares?
Good
Yeah.
point there.
Yeah, see, this kind of sounds like the classic old white people don't like,
Right.
the new progressive ways.
Right.
We just do it the way I did it when we was back then, and everything will be all right.
I think they should leak a sex tape to the grandparents' Facebook.
That's too strong, huh?
Seriously,
That's a
is
little
it?
extreme, I think, even for me.
Now, wait a minute.
It's like some bridges would be burned. I don't know. So what? They don't want her to get married to this guy?
Yeah,
And she's
yeah.
like, I don't want to lose my grandparents.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to lose.
Okay.
Lose them.
You really, you need to
There's
sit
long and
down.
short
Well,
of
you
it.
need to weigh which one. Do you love your boyfriend more or your grandparents more?
Yeah,
Now,
that's,
here's what I would say is that your grandparents are being ignorant. And like, just because they're old and related to you doesn't mean they can't be stupid as fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do have some personal experience with this kind of shit.
yes, of course you do. That's why I brought it up.
Well, let me go ahead and tell you that they'll come around
Yeah.
or they won't,
Or not.
and you won't miss them.
Either way.
Yeah, it's
So-
fine. So take the boyfriend for 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless he's a piece of shit. I mean, what is it? The implication is that it's because he's African American, but could there possibly be some other?
Yeah, well, it could be,
Perceived.
sure.
There could be.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it on its face. Now,
We
any
don't-
number of circumstances could make the grandparents eminently reasonable, right? Like, my African-American boyfriend, they don't like him just because he recently got out of prison for rape and prostitution.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I
Was
mean,
he the
case-
prostitute in this situation?
no, he was the pimp. I just didn't want to
Okay.
be too racist about it.
Just checking.
Right. Anyway, the point being, though, that's, I don't think that's a scenario.
What is the wait? The pimp can't get charged, can he?
You sure he
Yeah, he can.
Oh, I guess that's
Wow.
sex trafficking now. I'm thinking about 80s rules.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, back
Because I
when,
watched the documentary American Pimp once, actually pretty good documentary, but that was the whole thing, is that the women get the charges and then the pimp just comes and bails them out of jail. But it's different now.
It
Now
is
it's sex
different now.
trafficking.
Yeah, in the 80s, the only potential penalty for being a pimp was the requirement to wear a purple velvet jacket and a big floppy hat.
Yeah.
It's hard being a pimp.
Yeah, that's why it's hard out there. Anyway, here's the point, and the point is this, that, yeah, I agree with you, Sarah. Ultimately, if it's a choice between old people or someone you love, you should choose someone you love because the old people will come around or they'll die.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Sarah put it good. They'll come around. Or they won't. And if
Yeah.
they
It
don't,
won't matter.
fuck them.
Yeah. Wow. No,
And-
don't do that.
And if she gives up the grandparents
Yeah.
to go be with the guy, and the guy does turn out to be a piece of shit, and their reason for not liking him was because he was a piece of shit, they'll welcome her back after she ditches the piece of shit.
Yeah.
Can attest.
Yeah.
And then you'll all grow closer.
But I want to go back to say, yeah, fuck them. Seriously. Fuck them to death.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. Is that?
Whoa. My leaking a sex tape was too much?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Both
I
of
just,
those
you
things
know,
are
it's a
too
metaphor for
much. Yeah.
letting go and, you know.
All right. Now, speaking of confirmed facts, and you couldn't defend yourself, Nick.
Everything else was totally fine. I agreed with everything else that
Really?
was said.
Including
Yes.
the 200-pound blow-up doll?
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Why not?
Sure. I can't prove that that's not a thing. So, even though the burden of proof wouldn't be on me in this situation, it would be on you, but still, you know, I don't care. The rest is fine.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Because still, Taylor's not on the pod. You know, I've still not had a Taylor sighting. So until I have a Taylor sighting, 200-pound blow-up doll.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
That doesn't bother me.
No troubles. Okay. All right. Well,
As long
You're
as that
taking
doll
time
pays
out of
its
your
half the
day
rent,
to
right?
fabricate this strange fantasy about who I'm spending my time with. That seems like more effort for you than for me.
No, I didn't fabricate this strange fantasy. My buddy Chris, shout out to Chris, regular listener, 1 of 8. Chris brought up this concept.
Okay, yeah, but he just spitballed it. You know, he was blue sky in this
Ran
thing,
with it.
and it felt right at the time. I'm sure. You know,
Yeah, I'm sure it did feel right at the time.
but you're the one who just lays awake in bed staring at the ceiling. Elsie rolls over. What's wrong? Can't sleep? And you're like, yeah, just thinking. And then you just twiddle your thumbs and imagine that.
No, none of that happens. None of that happens.
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Shut
Hey,
up.
so I did
Yes.
kind of dig into our stats.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
It's not terrible. Well,
Are they better or
I-
worse than Peter's fantasy team?
Well, our highest one in the last 6 months was 42 downloads.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, actually, we do have.
Which
In
episode was that?
September, we've had 89, but how many shows have we had?
I don't know.
Somewhere around 54 total. Actually, no less than that. We've skipped
In Sep-
several weeks.
In September?
Oh.
Yeah.
In
I don't know. In this month?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
The point is that there's definitely people listening. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks to our local. You know what? Hey, listen. You can send us an email at ashinshow@gmail.com. That's right, ashinshow, all one word, at gmail.com. Shins with 2 N's, by the way. As you know, because you look at the podcast, you can see it says a shin show, SHIN.
Anyway, get to
look.
the point.
Yeah.
And it is pronounced shin, too, not shine. Some people like to think it's shine.
Oh,
And
my
no,
God.
In case you don't know us, we are not Chinese.
No,
I get asked that a lot.
because you work in a
Do I
Chinese
look
restaurant.
Chinese to you?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, all the time. Oh, so you're Japanese or Chinese? No.
Yes.
On the
Why
Shine,
not? I don't know why not. Okay, I wasn't born Chinese.
Why did you ask my English
Why
ancestors?
aren't you Chinese?
Yeah, but listen, you can email us at ashinshow.com, shinshow@gmail.com. And tell you what we'll do. I've got some fantastic merchandise to give away to anybody who actually does email ashinshow@gmail.com. Send me
Yeah.
your address and I'll
Yeah.
send you some merchandise.
Yeah,
It-
also you can write us questions, ask us questions.
Yes,
Any kind of
yeah, that's a good idea.
advice, you know, any
We have a
life
Twitter,
situations.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're better than Reddit at answering live questions.
Listen, just ask for advice, relationship or life advice, and then you'll know what not to do based on whatever we
That's a good
say.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's what we'll do. Anybody who writes us a question asking for some kind of life advice will get a genuine A Shin Show hoodie, red with our logo emblazoned on it. You're going to
you're
love
taking
that hoodie.
all the mystery right out of it.
Well, I'd like them to know what they're getting for sending us a wonderful question. Now, We'll see.
What if we get more questions than we have hoodies?
Well, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, we'll burn that bridge when we get
You know
to
what we'll do? We'll buy some more merchandise. That's
Yeah,
what
we'll
do.
buy some more merch, and then on those hoodies, it'll be "fuck them all to death." That's the ones that we'll get.
No,
I'm just kidding. I ripped that off from South Park. I can't steal that.
Yeah, you can. You just did, but we can't put it on a hoodie.
Yeah,
Because that would be a trademark violation.
"Fuck them all to death" is such a great slogan.
No, it's not. It's a terrible slogan. Horrible. Anyway, so yeah. So thanks for digging into our stats there and finding that out. Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, hey, 40 listeners. You know, from such numbers, armies are born.
I think that was
humble
just number of
beginnings.
downloads. You can't underestimate that somebody was having
agreed.
a computer problem and downloaded the thing 35 times.
That's a good point because I personally do that every show. So maybe I should write myself a question.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Whatever makes
Yeah,
you sleep
do
at night,
that.
my
Yeah,
dude.
and then give myself a hoodie. I think that'd be nice for me. Don't you?
Yeah,
I do.
Just
Yeah.
sit
Next to the
down.
other 3 in your closet.
Yes, well, all right. So there you go. We have 3 hoodies to give away. There you have it. Well, 2 because I want to wear one, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want
Okay, okay, next. what's going on, guys? What are we doing?
So we're doing pop culture.
let's-
Yeah, what'd you watch this week? What'd you read this week? What'd you look at this week?
I was reading this book called Less, and it was about some fucking middle-aged gay guy having a crisis about his mediocrity, and it was fine. I mean, it was fine, but I didn't finish it before my fucking library card would be, before I had to return it. So, and will not finish. So,
That sounds like a bad book.
it was fine. It was just it's like on the New York Times bestseller, won a bunch of awards and shit, but it was just sad. Like, you lived a boring life and you were sad, and I'm sorry, and I don't really want to read about this.
Yeah, and then at the end you died or what?
She
I
died
don't know.
of
I didn't
boredom.
finish it.
I see.
Let's just assume that he did.
So what happened?
Died like a dog in the
Here's the
sand.
premise: is that his younger lover that he had for 9 years broke up with. It was getting married. Got invited to the wedding. Instead of saying no, I'm not going to go. He was an aspiring writer, so he's like, I'm going to go on this cobbled together tour across Europe to feel something again instead of going to your wedding. No, I can't make it. And so then it was him going around the world and realizing how mediocre he was.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds boring.
Did not finish.
Okay.
So that's what I wasted my time with this week. 2 weeks, really.
All right, very good. How about you, Elsie?
So I watched X-Men: The Dark Phoenix
Ooh,
on my way to Atlanta.
I heard that was a terrible film.
Really?
It was not terrible.
No.
No. Not
I mean, it
terrible.
raised a lot of questions, but I didn't think it was
You
terrible.
watched it?
Right.
Sarah?
Of course
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like the X-Men.
yeah. I'm glad I watched it. Not my favorite X-Men movie, but not my least favorite. Somewhere in the middle. And then on the way back, I watched Captain Marvel finally. And I have to say, it was much better than I thought it would be.
I like that movie. A lot of people were shitting on it, but like I didn't read any reviews or anything about it. I just went to go see it, and I was like, yeah, it's an enjoyable superhero movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
ticked
really
all the
know anything.
boxes.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it either going into it. I'm a big fan of Flurkins, and I call the cats Flurkins now. So
Yeah,
that's
you
fine.
do. You do call
That
them.
was pretty funny.
Is it Firkins or Flurkins?
Flurkin.
Flurkins.
Flurkins.
I see.
Flurkin Durkin.
I got to admit, I have to watch Captain Marvel. Haven't seen it.
You'll like it.
Okay. Well, I like it because it's, she starts off in the Air Corps, as I recall.
Yeah. Well,
Let's leave it there.
Yeah, all right. No spoilers. No spoilers. Okay, so you saw a couple movies. Good for you. And a couple superhero flicks. It's kind of all they make these days.
Girl power.
Yeah, right on.
I did also see It Chapter 2.
Oh, and how did it compare to It Chapter 1?
I could have done without the violent gay bashing scene in the first 20 minutes. That lasted for like 6 of it. But other than that, it was fine. It wasn't as good as the first one. The first one I loved. Like, I thought it was great. I thought it was a feel-good horror movie is how I described it.
Okay.
The feel-good
Yeah.
horror movie of the summer.
Right. And this one was just not.
Yeah, that's because the feel good from the first movie was all the joy you derived from watching children scream in terror, and then that wasn't present.
That's true. There's
Yeah,
there's a lot of that.
Yeah,
I know that there's like a preternatural sense of enjoyment you get out of watching kids cry, and that wasn't really in the first one.
I see. I thought
There
that
was a little of it in the second, but you're right. It was more just adults trying to figure their shit out, and I get enough of that my day to
I
day.
get that same
Sounds
enjoyment,
like
too.
work, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like
You
my
see like a
life.
real scared kid, somewhere like at a movie theater. It's so goddamn funny. Makes you just feel good, like a little piece of shit, little dumbass.
Wow. Wow. Fuck them all to death. Am I right?
Wow, you're
No.
And you guys wonder why you're not getting grandchildren.
yeah. Well, no,
I don't wonder.
I don't wonder at all. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm a little freaked out right now. I'm not going to kid
What?
No, he's
What?
not. He's
You-
reading
dude,
Reddit.
Don't
He's
sit
not even
there.
paying
Let's all
attention.
be honest.
Schadenfreude is a real thing. Just because he applies it to children specifically doesn't mean.
Let's all be honest. There's no one on this podcast right now that doesn't at least chuckle internally when they see a kid cowering somewhere. You know what I mean?
you. No, that's not true.
I prefer pain. I like watching people hurt themselves as opposed to emotional damage.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
that's cool too.
You
But
all are
to
monsters.
Real fear in a kid's eyes is funny to me.
You're a monster. Both of you. Both of you are.
What?
I don't.
I know I'm making it sound right now like I'm the one doing the scaring.
Yes,
no,
it
I want to
does.
be the third party, just the fly on the wall, Like think like Worlds of Fun when during October when you're standing in line and those guys are running around fucking with everybody in line.
Right.
And they get a kid real bad and the kid's it's funny.
Tell me right now you would not have laughed if you saw a kid fall off the playground equipment this morning.
No, I would
Well,
not have.
that's
You
that's just
lie.
old fashioned
I-
family funny.
I don't. All right, only if it's your sister.
Small children hurting themselves is fun for the whole family.
No,
It
it's
really
not.
is.
Let me tell you this story, I've told it before. You lived this story when you were 7 years old, and we were out in Colorado by Lake Deweese at
Yeah, I remember this.
an undisclosed reservoir in the middle of Colorado.
Right.
Anyway.
Don't worry, no one knows where the fuck that is.
That's true. You got to want to get there. Anyway, you're running towards the reservoir in your little flip-flops, and I'm thinking, this is going to end badly. And before I have a chance to yell at you that this is going to end badly, you go ass over tea kettle and scrape your whole body from your forehead down to the tips of your toes. Everything is a bloody strawberry. And I'm feeling so ashamed and guilty and bad as a parent because I've allowed you to injure yourself. I did not find that amusing at all, I have to say.
There's a tribe in the Amazon that they just let their kids do whatever the fuck, and that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that is
Look,
true.
Dad, the only reason you felt that way was because, there
Poor
were
child.
there were other adults there you knew may possibly give you shit. If that would have been someone
Right.
else's kid, you would have thrown your head back, put your hands on your stomach, and laughed from deep.
No, that's not true, because here's another story. When Sarah fell off of her bicycle and I found her in the middle of the road, I was absolutely horrified. Now,
I was there for that too.
you were there for that. Now, of course, that didn't stop me from trying to throw her into an ice-cold bathtub to wake her up. That was probably not the best medical advice. Taking her to the doctor was better, and that's ultimately what happened.
Got there.
But, yeah, you got there. It did happen. But it's not like I laughed at you. It's not like, oh, look at my daughter lying in the middle of the road as if dead.
You can't laugh when it's
But
your
if that was
kid.
somebody
Your
else's
responsibility is to fix them, but it's fun for everyone else.
Look, Dad, the only reason you
don't
didn't
think-
laugh was because I was sitting right there in the passenger seat. If I wouldn't have been there, dude, you would have chuckled. You would have been cackling and thrown your Slurpee at the back of Sarah's head as you drove by back home.
But Dad, stop trying to make it out that you're better than us.
Right, that's
Right.
fair.
He does like to get on his moral high horse from time to time.
Yeah, let me-
I would never.
Yeah, let me climb back down. You're right. I have my own. I got my own issues. Let's not discuss them here. All right. So anyway, wow, I've kind of lost track. Oh, so you're probably wondering, but Dad, what did you look at or read this week? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this week I read a book called The Price of Time, which is a kind of a quirky thriller in which the premise is that a small company in 1998 discovers the secret of immortality, and rather than releasing it upon the world, they just make one another immortal. But they actually have to kill one of their employees to keep them quiet right at the beginning of the thing, and that becomes a cancer that eats at them. In the meantime, they've got this whole other thing where they're trying to replace their bodies after 20 years, because not their own bodies, but they're trying to gain new identities by finding people that look like themselves and then killing them. so that they can assume their new identities, and they have this special agent who is doing that for them, and then he screws with the wrong gal who runs into this ex-CIA agent who, it's a thriller. And it was really quite a page-turner.
Oh, that sounds
What was
cool.
this called?
The Price of Time. It's available on Kindle Unlimited.
There you have
Sounds very good.
Yeah.
Here's an album of the week for you. An
Yes.
album I listened to
Yes.
just on a whim.
Yes. And Taylor Swift's new one?
No.
Okay.
No, it was is the album that the White Stripes made with Icky Thump on it, is that called Icky Thump?
It is.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that whole album. Good album.
It's a fantastic album.
Really?
It might
Yeah.
be my favorite White Stripes album.
It's like 18 years old, though, isn't it? Not quite.
not
Maybe
quite.
14 years
Probably
old?
2005.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, 2007. I'm pretty sure Icky Thump was the last one they made together.
It was, but let's squash the beef, shall we?
Yeah, we'll squash the beef, but I'm going to say that album came out in 2007. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
Let's
that
see
was
if
cool.
you're right.
Also, Jack, did you see that Jack White and Jack Black collaborated on a song? And either the song or the group of those two is called Jack Gray.
Yeah, I heard that.
I
did
heard
too.
of that too. And yes, you were right. 2007.
Yeah, it came out in
Oh,
2000.
spot on.
Yeah, well, once in a while,
And it was their last album.
every once in a while, even a blind pig finds an acorn. And speaking of which, speaking of old music that I heard that I was like, wow, I never heard this before. I dug this. U2 had an album out in 1983. It was one of their breakthrough albums called War. And on that album is a song called Red Light. And it's a very different kind of U2 song that features horns and, background singers and a lot of kind of weird stuff. It almost almost starts out like a Cake song, but then it becomes kind of a classic U2 song. But it's very different, and I recommend it. Red Light by U2, a single song off the War album.
Did you ever see the episode of South Park they did about Bono?
No, I did not, actually. But did you know that Bono, there's a picture of him hanging up in the Dundee Dell in Omaha?
No.
Why?
Because he came to Omaha to visit with Warren Buffett.
Oh,
About,
that's actually not that surprising. That happens all the time.
yeah,
Yeah, Shia
elbow.
LaBeouf came to fucking Omaha to eat at Olive Garden while I was working there twice.
did he really?
Fucking
Yeah.
weird.
Well, we
Yeah.
all know Shia LaBeouf's weird, so there you go.
Yeah, Andy's an actual cannibal.
Did he ask for the freshly slain kiwi?
No, and but he would if he went to Ziff's. That's right, Ziff's, fine dining and a relaxed continental atmosphere in Invercargill, New Zealand. Proud fake sponsors of our podcast, A Shin Show, for more than 100th of a century. That's right, over 100th of a century, Ziff's has stood by this podcast. Why don't you go on down to Invercargill, New Zealand, get yourself some freshly clubbed koala, thinly sliced on some Kaiser roll, and then get yourself some freshly slain kiwi juice to go along with that at Ziff's. Delicious, delicious New Zealand cuisine right there in Invercargill, New Zealand. After you're done, head on over to the throne room for a light, refreshing tattoo after your perfect meal at Ziff's. That's right, the throne room. Fantastic tattoos. Also in Invercargill, New Zealand. Also a fake sponsor of A Shin Show for almost 100th of a century at this point. There you go.
By the way, I follow both establishments now on Facebook, and I can honestly say I've never seen anything from Ziff's even remotely related to freshly slain kiwi or anything of the like.
We're trying to convince them to put it on the menu, okay?
Yeah.
If you're following both of them, I feel like they owe us a little.
No shit.
Right. Like what? Like
Yeah,
a
we're giving them
sandwich?
shouts outs, bro.
Yeah, like-
People are listening to this. They're booking flights to Invercargill right motherfucking now to go try that delicious Mediterranean cuisine in a relaxed continental fucking atmosphere.
Right, because
okay?
they want to experience that. They want to know what that's all about,
Which is weird because New Zealand is like an island. It's not a continent.
Well,
they attain continental atmosphere in such a non-continental place. It's part of what makes them so special.
It is so special. You're right. Now, we forgot to kind of celebrate our 1-year anniversary of this pod, by the way, which was on or about 1 September of 2018. Well,
we did, and the 1-year anniversary was just you and me.
Yeah.
And the first one was just you and me, too. We did that without even fucking
Yeah, because
Not even on purpose.
yeah, the,
You're
is
a
fun.
couple of dumbasses, obviously.
Yeah, we fumbled into it, like
Right.
we usually do with
Right.
everything.
Coincidence.
right,
Looking around with our thumbs up our asses and some drool on our shirt.
right, just real stupid. Like
Yeah,
we managed to.
Rubbing shit in
bumbling,
your hair. and
fumbling
what?
idiots.
Yeah. So, but my point is simply that it might be worth revisiting how Ziffs came to be a sponsor, and it's because we couldn't remember whether it was the Akron Zips or the Akron Ziffs, and then we found out that this was a team that Nebraska had played and clubbed like a baby seal last year, as they do every year. And so, yeah, so that's how we figured out, no, Ziffs is a restaurant in Invercargill, New Zealand, and they're our sponsor. That's become a recurrent bit. Thanks, Ziffs. And thanks, Akron Zips, for the mistake that led to our long-term fake sponsorship with Ziffs.
Oh, fuck those
Well,
guys.
let's
Yeah, that
kinda
had
get it
nothing
right
to
here.
do with you guys being dumb again.
Well, what didn't have it? Yeah, it had everything to do with us being dumb.
Hold on
They
a
were
second.
not
This whole
culpable.
thing started with you, Dad, trying to say that it was the Ziffs. You were the one who's like, it's Akron Ziff? No, you're like, it's something Ziffs. It's the Ziffs. I don't know what. Then I'm like, what the fuck is a Ziffs? And I fucking Google it, and the only thing that comes up naturally is the only place on goddamn earth who has that name. A
Right.
restaurant in Invercargill, New Zealand. Not even close to the football team in America.
But how cool to be so unique that you're the only fucking thing in the planet that shows up when
Yeah.
Googled.
That's a good point right there. It could just be search optimization, don't you think?
I'm sure they're real worried about that in Invercargill, of course.
Yeah, well, they are, because obviously they want people from, undisclosed locations showing up to try the freshly slain kiwi juice and thinly sliced koala and so on. I don't even think koalas live in New Zealand, to tell you the truth. We'd have to go find out.
I don't know, but I think we should really focus our followership on Invercargill because we don't have to care what they think about us. They don't have to care what we think about them.
Not
yada,
true.
yada.
It's a small world. And we're going to do the podcast live from Invercargill here. We're planning that for about 2027. Watch out, Ziffs.
Watch out. Wouldn't it be sad if they went out of business before we could get
Oh,
out there?
you've spoken into being.
Wouldn't it-
God.
Fucker.
Wouldn't it be sad if we drove them out of business?
That seems a little bit more likely.
It does, actually.
We drove them out of business. People would go to Ziffs and be like, damn, dude.
There
I
is
can't
no
they
kiwi.
associate that food with the garbage that comes out of our mouths on this podcast.
Or
Just walk out thinking, fuck this place to death. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
like, if it wasn't so filthy, I would make that the title of this episode. But I won't. I might do an F few stars this episode to death. I don't know.
Come on, dude. What's the difference at that point?
Well,
You're going to put F and a couple of stars
Yeah.
this episode to death instead of just writing fuck this episode to death like you're fooling somebody, like you're shielding small children's eyes from the possibility of the word fuck this episode to death.
Yes, I am.
That's exactly how that works.
Yes,
That's your call.
I'm protecting you, just like I did when you were little.
You're going to end up scraped from this.
Yeah, from head to toe. All right. Well, that was entertaining. All right.
And, and also to be fair about that story, as I recall, it wasn't head to toe. It was just my elbows and knees, but it was my entire elbows and knees.
Yeah, and they were like down to the bone scraped, as I recall.
It was just bone.
Right, just bone sticking out.
No cartilage. Nothing.
Yeah, I felt that. I can tell you that.
And it was so hot, I was going down the hill at such a velocity that it just, cauterized the wound shut.
Yeah, that was the sad part, is you were anticipating that cool, refreshing water running so fast
Yeah.
towards it, and what
We
you
were
got
going to get on some
instead.
fucking jet skis and go tubing and shit.
Oh, yeah, you were going to do all those things, but instead, no, you had to get bandaged up.
Yeah, I had to go fuck myself on a couch and writhe around in agony.
You didn't have to fuck yourself. You chose that part. But why not just jump in the lake? It'll wash the wounds. It's all good.
I think there's a little bit of slime, maybe a little bit of E. coli in the lake, just like a little bit.
Yeah, well, the real issue was that why didn't he jump in the lake? Because his bones were covered in gravel. That's why.
Yeah, we had to pick that out.
Yeah.
Kind of wedge it out. With
Forceps.
with a,
yeah.
What's the word?
Chisel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
paint knife, a
Chisel.
putty knife.
Yeah. No, chisel for
Yeah.
sure.
Anyway, so Sarah, let me ask you this question. I feel like we should have a new segment, which is Ask a Computer Engineer.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
loud.
so here's my question. We should have music for the Ask an Engineer segment, don't you think?
No.
Well, I'm sorry. You're going to get music. So here's the music. Da, da,
Don't answer the question.
No, here we go. Da 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 da. Ask a computer engineer. All right, so that's the introduction of the segment. Pretty good,
Hey, you remember when I said earlier about Dad laying awake in bed, just staring up at the ceiling? Elsie turns over. Hey, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, just thinking. That's the kind of that da 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 running through his head on a loop all night.
You all are welcome for my sacrifice.
Elsie's like, did you ever go to sleep last night? And Dad's like, yeah, I slept great. And then he just gets out of the bed, still fully dressed.
Oh,
I'll see you later.
Da 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 da.
I got a good one this time.
It's a winner. All right, so here's the question, Sarah, for Ask a Computer Engineer, our new special segment every week, which is, why is computer engineering so hard?
Because physics is hard, bro. The world is complicated and we barely understand it.
That's the hippie answer.
Yeah, what's the real answer?
That's also the real answer.
Yeah.
That's the fucking real answer, man. Because math.
Oh.
Because math.
Because it's tedious, perhaps?
Because it's complicated and mathematical, and people don't like to do the detailed work. That's why.
And
Okay.
supremely logical, and most people are very illogical.
Okay,
Same.
so it sounds to me like it involves a lot of facts.
Well, I mean, I
Patience.
guess there's laws. There's a
Technical.
lot of laws that it involves.
Oh, really?
Physical laws.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good for a lone wolf rebel like myself, you know?
Yeah, gunslinger, Lone Ranger, you know, on the frontier, you know, out
Rebel
there
without a
paving the
cause.
way,
Yeah.
Just
aim
be
in the
a
wilds.
Yeah.
Be a hobbyist.
Yeah.
It's easy
Yeah, I think that's
No.
that's a good idea. Hey, speaking of which,
to
Sarah,
prove
but
anything.
in all seriousness, what do I need to do? I got that dead purple computer. You remember that laptop, right?
All right.
But the hard drive on it, I'm sure is fine, and it's got
So
stuff.
take the hard drive out.
Okay, and then how do I connect it to my new computer so that I can just download the stuff off of that onto the new computer?
Take the hard drive out of your new computer
Yeah.
and hook it into.
Yeah. That's the tricky part. How do you hook that in? See, that's a
I don't
computer.
know, man. You did it.
Dude,
There's connectors. There's shit. I don't know.
Yeah, she could tell you verbally over this podcast,
Right.
when in reality you would come to the conclusion that a visual, representation via YouTube video.
I mean, legit, we could fucking sidebar at some point.
all right. So,
Don't fall for that shit. Call Best
YouTube.
Buy, Geek Squad, get it done.
Nah, I'm not doing that. All right. So this segment has proven to be a bust, except for the part where da 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 da. Ask a computer.
That's the part we're
engineer.
sticking on? All
Yeah,
right.
that's the best part of this part.
Congratulations on trying to
Oh.
exploit your daughter for her knowledge.
Yeah, well, I tried. Can't blame me.
publicly, no less. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
I forgot some pop culture.
Oh, you did? Okay, lay it on us.
Yeah, Borderlands 3 just came out on Friday.
Yeah, that's a.
Phenomenal game.
Is it really? So have you beaten the game already?
10 out of 10. No, not even close. But
Yeah.
I've been playing the fucking shit out of it.
All right.
Yeah, I feel bad for my girlfriend because I've just been like,
Yeah.
Good news, you don't need to feel bad for a 200-pound blow-up doll.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth.
it's true. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Guilt erased.
Guilt
Well,
absolved.
you do when you're crazy. You do when it speaks to you. When you perceive it to be a living human being,
Right. As you do, obviously.
as I do,
Yeah.
and a few other people actually. But
Now, one of the things I've been saying recently, Nick, is that my daughter's a computer engineer, and my son is a Chinese waiter, and then I have to then caveat that with he's not Chinese; he just works in a Chinese
I was going to say
restaurant.
back to Shin.
You sure could just alleviate that problem by saying Chinese restaurant waiter or waiter in a Chinese restaurant.
I could say that, but it's a lot more fun to say he's
you
a
just say
Chinese
waiter,
Right. I
Leave
could.
it at Chinese waiter and then refuse to provide additional information.
Yeah, there you go. You don't owe anybody
You'd be
anything.
like, oh,
Right.
what? So you mean he's Chinese? And you just shake your head. And they're like, so he's not Chinese, and you just don't say anything. You just put your fingers up to your lips. And they're like, are you good, man? And you're like, shh, shh, shh. And then you motion towards your ears like someone's listening, and then you just walk away.
Yeah, that should be great for my clearance. All right. Anyway. So, yeah. All right. What am I talking about here? I don't know. I just thought I'd share that with you because I find it very funny. Okay. So, pop culture. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing your album recommendation. Even though I didn't like Icky Thump that much. There's some songs on it. It's like every Jack White album.
You know what album?
I know what you mean.
Album
Yeah.
that I listened to recently, and by recently I mean this week,
Yeah.
is "Lungs" by Florence and the Machine.
Oh,
Excellent.
yeah, that's a good album.
2009. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Excellent.
I was listening to it and I was like, every song on here is amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
throw that in.
I came up with a new fortune cookie last night. You ready?
Awesome. Yes. Hit us.
You ready? Okay.
And you wrote it down, obviously.
I wrote it. This time I wrote it down. All right. So you bust open the fortune cookie. Okay. And on it says, "There's nothing scary about huffing paint until mom comes home."
I don't know. That's not that funny to me.
I thought it was pretty funny.
You thought
Hey,
so?
hey, you know what? The
What?
fortune cookie will be pink, maybe look like, kind of disarming and shit. And then you open it and that's, there's some advice. There's more. We got more in the works. I'm just spitballing this thing.
Okay,
here.
good point. Yeah. We'll also accept fortune cookie suggestions when you email
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
for merch. Either relationship questions or fortune cookie suggestions. Either one.
When did this become about relationship questions? I thought it was just random questions.
Oh,
Is it specifically relationship related?
No, it could be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Including but not limited to.
There you
Please, God, email us. We're desperate for human attention.
go. We need
Right.
anything other than each other at this point.
That's true. That's so true. All right, so pop culture, we're done with that. So we've already gone over how badly I suck at fantasy football. In football news, the Denver Broncos have lost. Undoubtedly, they were losing when we walked down here. They've since, I'm sure, that giant sucking sound is the sound of the Broncos losing at home to go 0-2 into the season. And then the Nebraska Cornshuckers bounced back, just putting a whooping on Northern Illinois University Huskies.
God damn it.
What do you mean, goddamn
She chose. the
I'm also
Huskies,
going to take
obviously.
credit for this one, too.
it? Yeah,
And tell her that I told her to choose the Huskies.
Yeah, but it is so the guy who's running this is a huge Huskers fan, so I purposefully choose against the Huskers every week just to piss him off.
yeah. Okay.
Working.
Yeah, got it.
It's
So-
pretty funny.
It is, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like this week, it didn't work.
Yeah. This week
Just wait till next week. That's what I say to that. All right, so, and then is there any other sporting news? Any fights on?
Yeah, there were fights last night. The only one that we cared about was Cerrone versus Gaethje.
Yeah. How did
Yeah.
Cowboy do?
Yeah, Gaethje won in the first round by TKO.
What?
Yeah.
Cowboy's losing his shit. Is it time for Cowboy to hang it up, do you think?
It's getting close. Cowboy's like my favorite fighter of all time, but
Classic action fighter, Cowboy Cerrone.
yeah.
It's well-rounded.
All things must come to an end, though, It's getting to be about that time, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well,
Now,
and Justin Gaethje and Cowboy Cerrone were friends, too. Like, they didn't really... There's a point where Justin Gaethje, he clipped out Cowboy Cerrone. Cerrone's turtled up on the ground, and Gaethje's like about to hit him again. And he looks over at the ref, like he stops and looks at the ref. He's like, "Are you gonna fucking stop this?" And the ref doesn't. So then he just pounces him a couple more times, and then the ref jumps in there. And then Cowboy like jumped up, like, "What the fuck?" And like it was like, come on. Once you see the replay,
We're turtled.
yeah, like if the ref didn't stop the fight, then you would have been knocked out for real.
yeah, was it Howard Dean? Not Howard Dean. Who?
No, it was the guy who allegedly trained Sarah and Murph for their
Oh yeah,
judging classes. I mean,
Yeah, who was that?
That guy, Jaron
Jaron-
Vallel.
Who?
yeah.
Who? I know I sound like an owl there, but who was that? What's his name?
Jaron Vallel.
Oh, Jaron Vallel. Okay,
Yeah,
got
couldn't sound more like an alien's name if you tried.
it. Right.
Vallel. It's for sure Jaron.
It sounds like a fucking intergalactic policeman's name.
It does. Welcome to our planet, Jaron Vallel. We
Yeah.
extend you greetings and wish to take you to our global president.
To our probing station for analysis.
Glorangelel. I'm making up his name now. Anyway, so that was the only fight that you cared about, huh? All right, well, that's that. Although, I could have watched that fight. And do you know why?
Why?
Because ESPN Plus suckered me into an annual subscription.
Oh, buddy, I could have just shared my password with you.
Shit. But,
Well-
yeah, you could have, except for one thing. I don't think we can both watch it at the same time.
I don't
I
think
don't know.
that's how the internet works.
What do you mean you don't think that's how the internet works? Let's ask a computer engineer.
It depends on their terms of subscription. Don't come at me. Terms of service.
That's a thing. Not being able to watch it on multiple.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's,
But it depends on the service.
yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
I mean, ESPN Plus is not Netflix. I don't think anyone's mistaking ESPN Plus for Netflix at this time. Or are we? Are we mistaking ESPN Plus for Netflix? What are we doing here?
Hulu
No.
does that too, though.
Allows
Yeah.
allows multiple logins.
Yeah.
But only so many.
Right.
Yeah, like
Naturally.
5. Well, however many I have, 4 or 5.
Yeah, 75, whatever. Yeah.
It's more than Netflix.
It's more than Hulu's more than Netflix? Well, it doesn't matter because
Who cares?
precisely.
Anyway, the point is that you're a sucker.
I am a sucker. But you know what you can get on ESPN Plus that you can't get anywhere else?
What?
Rugby. And I like rugby. I like it a lot. It's like football, only no passing and no pads. There's a lot of action.
Soccer football.
It's a
Yeah.
total action sport. And no commercials. I like that.
That is nice.
It really is. You got to pay
I
attention.
do like on ESPN Plus that I can watch old UFC shit. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Well, they just have those on YouTube now too.
Yeah, but
Free
then I don't
fights.
have to do it on my phone, on my TV. It's just on my TV.
I think they just released the Khabib and Connor fight as a free fight.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well,
UFC's had it for a while.
oh, good. So
Or
you
the ESPN Plus or whatever.
I mean, you could find it somewhere
Yeah.
else, but now it's the
But now you can see the
official.
whole. You could also see the
Yeah.
whole thing, not just the 30 seconds of Khabib and McGregor.
Yeah. Now you can see Khabib tooling on Conor McGregor, which is good. Conor McGregor's worn out his welcome with me.
Yeah,
Well, there you
yeah,
have
bro.
Well,
We both turned to look at the poster of Conor.
Yeah, of Conor McGregor on the wall right next to us.
oh, so sorry.
like he was going to come out of it. And hit us
Such a
both
douchey
over
fucking poster too. It's just him with a toothpick in his mouth, like looking all, the camera's real close, tight in on his face, got his Rolex watch in frame, wearing a nice fucking suit. The look on his face just makes you want to fucking hang yourself. It's so douchey.
It makes you want to hang yourself or punch him in the face.
Well, I
Yes.
don't want to punch him in the face because,
He might come at you, bro.
yeah, he would tarnish.
He would fuck him to death.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he would, but if he wanted to,
They're-
yeah, he could.
right,
Pretty
exactly.
fucking sure.
Yeah, this has been a whole thing with you. You've been feared that you're going to be forced into a homosexual experience by a UFC fighter. We've been all over this.
Forced into a fatal homosexual experience.
Afraid or secretly hoping.
That's true. It's hard to say. That's great.
Either way, there's two common denominators. It's homosexual and it's fatal.
And it's UFC. All right. So, well, kids, are we missing anything? What's big plans for the week at all? Anything interesting going on?
Yeah, I was thinking about taking a shit when I get home. Like a big one though.
Right. Not like normal. No.
Yeah, like every couple of weeks, I
You gotta
like to
treat
just
yourself.
turn the valve off. Yeah, you got to treat yourself. Really enjoy it. Lay some newspaper down. Make like some straw maybe around the fucking.
Get your aromatherapy going.
Yourself off when
Yeah,
you're done.
steam out the bathroom so it's a sauna.
Right.
You know
Put
what I
on your
mean?
shitting hat, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Put on your shitting hat. Your patented shitting hat, which is, as we all know, just a top hat, which is like 5 feet tall with some eye holes up here, so you can just pull it down over your face. So the bottom of the top hat goes around your neck, and you just got eye holes right here like a ski mask, and and a
Make sure you,
monocle,
make sure you don't forget your knee pads.
and a corncob pipe, and just really enjoy the thing.
All right. Well, good. That sounds like a big plan for the week.
It might take all week.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah. Well, it's the highlight.
You're right. Whatever it takes. How about you, Sarah?
Fuck, man. I'm just trying to live my life without any more knowledge from any of you.
Wow.
All right. Got it.
Corners of my brain.
Got it. Okay. So I take it that, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to be doing something else besides that this week. And then how about you, Elsie?
I'm going to Minot, North Dakota.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Freezing's the reason. All right. So,
Although it's going to be 90 degrees there tomorrow.
yeah,
so
because
weird.
it's hot up and down the Midwest. Up and down I-29, it's hot.
It'd be real hot.
Yeah, it's hotter than hell. And so, yeah, I don't really...
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have anything very special going on this week. Yeah, I'm trying to think. No. Nah, nothing
There's
extraordinary.
a convention and a luncheon.
Yeah, there's a convention, but, whatever. I don't have to leave town for it, so I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that I don't have to leave town for this convention. I just have to show up and be affable for, a couple hours, which I'll do. I'm good at affable. Look at me. I'm being affable right now, aren't I?
Yeah, verbally. Sure.
Yeah. Right.
He's physically beating me, though.
Yeah, that's not true. That is
Aesthetically, spiritually, mentally.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. All right, well, good. Well, kids, I guess we should wrap it up here. Any final thoughts? No? Yes?
No.
Okay, very good. A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. It's brought to you on a fake basis each week by Ziff's, Fine Dining in Invercargill, New Zealand, and by The Throne Room. Tattoos, also in Invercargill, New Zealand, both establishments proud fake sponsors of A Shin Show for more than 100th of a century. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please join us next week when we'll hear Elsie Shin say...
Red Jell-O is superior to green Jell-O. Change my mind.
Bullshit. All right. Actually, I think I like red Jell-O better. Pretty sure.
Because it's true.
Jell-O has just gotten grosser and grosser to me in general as I get older.
Yeah, I understand. We were having this discussion the other night about Jell-O, how it gets all melty. That's really gross. It's still got some skin, but it's kind of malty and lumpy. You know what I'm talking about? And it's warm.
Yeah.
What's
is
that?
the Jell-O puddings.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it's pudding.
Yeah, because it's pudding. Because the one
it's something
essential
else.
fact that it's not Jell-O.
The Jell-O brand.
Right.
Okay, but
But there's no gelatin.
Correct.
Yeah, gelatin is in of itself just kind of a disgusting. And if it gets like on the table, on the little side of the table, and you don't notice it, and you come back tomorrow, that's just calcified Jell-O now.
Yeah.
Did you know it's
part of
made
the
out of bone marrow?
Yeah, I did know
Yeah,
that.
pig's feet
meal,
and
maybe?
eyeballs and testicles or some shit like
No,
that.
that's hot dogs.
Wow, that was a step too far, yeah.
But-
Lizard brains and
Right. Pigs and tails and puppy dog snails and so on.
I will say, I never said Jell-O's good. I just said red Jell-O is better than green Jell-O.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's like saying arsenic is better than cyanide.
And it is.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Much more flavorful. All right. Well, anyway, good to talk to you, kids.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Sure love you, kids.
Yeah, I love you too. And just as a final note, I just want to, add about the Jell-O thing. I'd rather saw my pinky toes off than eat a cup of Jell-O.
Well, you can go fuck yourself to death.
Well, maybe I will. After I take my gourmet exclusive 5-star hotel shit. Just end it on a good note.
Before fucking
End it on a
yourself
brown
to death. God damn. Leaving it all in, as usual.
Ending it on a flatulent note.
Indeed. All right.
I'm out.
Are you going to outro us or what?
Yeah, I already did. Love you. Bye.
I forgot.
Yeah, bye.